Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. No, it's not a hoax. Here, Stephen Nair gives us a pessimistic view of what happened with Ethereum. Not to mention the state. A lot of this is speculation on my part. What I do know, though, is that Stephen was an integral part of Ethereum's early stages. He came highly recommended. Everyone here has probably heard his tapes. I believe it is imperative that we pay close attention to his words. As he continues, things will begin to make sense. After all, while Charles and others argue that it's implausible that Joe Lubin could bribe Hinman, Jay Clayton, and all these other government officials, Stephen's arguments begin to make a lot of sense. Allow us to delve into this. Joe bribing and officials are oversimplifying the situation, he asserts. Corruption was at the heart of an all-encompassing scheme by public and commercial entities. A lot of light has been shown on this. Joe Lubin isn't the starting point, the government is. In this case, there is a harmony. Furthermore, I've heard numerous Bitcoin maxis assert that Ethereum is, in fact, heavily influenced by the government. I wonder what would drive them if Stephen were to get involved. Let's clear the air on the DAO report free pass. Pursuing Ripple is actually a subset of this larger strategy. Despite their best efforts, Ethereum, the government-backed banks, and Consensus all failed to unseat Ripple. The DAO report free pass and lawsuit were thus necessary. Now this seems really foolish in this day and age. It seems absurd to claim, well, they couldn't catch XRP, they couldn't catch what Ripple was doing when one considers the time travel and the events surrounding the Ripple movement that led to XRP and Ethereum sputtering. Yeah, after taking a beating from the government for 3 years in a row. In this regard, Ethereum has done really well, hasn't it? However, it wasn't always the case. Stevens got into why and what was the overarching goal. But if you compare the XRP token's price to that of Bitcoin and Ethereum from previously, it wasn't what it is now. What do we constantly hear about the XRP ledger? That it is governed by a small group of people who serve the interests of everyone involved, when we hear that the government is blasting a protocol as decentralized? In the truest sense, that is not cryptocurrency. Proof of work is the key. Since the miners and participants are the ones who really own and control the network, what gave? What kind of say do miners have on the Ethereum blockchain? None whatsoever, they were all dismissed. The people in charge of the infrastructure were never really in charge. Vitalik transferred the blockchain to them immediately. It was always their intention to use evidence of effort to support a theory. The more the price goes up, the less probable it is that average people will join, as they are bound to make a mistake and lose a lot of Ethereum. Then it will be transferred to the current owner under proof of stake. This sucker will be under their authority. The government and banks settle on a protocol that they portray as public, decentralized, and permissionless, but which actually includes actors like Vitalik and Lubin who would behave according to their wishes. Not to mention how well controlled and focused it was. Joe has mentioned clawbacks for the Ethereum token. I suppose we might have to implement something similar in the future. Those are just extreme cases. Please hear me out on this. We rationalize the government's every move by saying things like, there must be a really dangerous person out there, and we must put an end to this. No, the government gets very worked up over every little thing, and they will use that authority without hesitation if you grant it to them. Someday, with Ethereum, we will have it. What do you think about the premise behind all these coins truly fighting for what's right? I mean, come on, it's XRP if you're Cardano, polka dots if you're any decent, and having that feature is a must in the US and the West. To be honest, I wouldn't say most of them. Being able to make a first-order theory and then use it to justify their puppet is an essential component of bringing this in. It would be great if you could finish Stephen's letter here. Fatality, he says again. Moreover, Lubin could not have thought their goal was decentralized while Hinman was speaking. Also, I'd want to bring up the question of whether or not they consulted the miners before sending us to Ethereum. Throughout the process, were they concerned that they wouldn't receive enough votes? I don't think so. protocol, and they could relocate it whenever they wanted to. They went ahead and accomplished that. They replaced their network with a new one that they had designed and controlled, and then dismissed all of the so-called decentralized participants. Everyone was fired, every node and miner. Additionally, you introduce the current infrastructure with specific restrictions, making it more difficult for regular people to use as the token's value increases. Additionally, they hold this object under lock and key, and everything must pass through them indefinitely. That is not a coincidence. Stephen Neary informed us of this by saying that the SEC's treatment of all altcoins, with the exception of Ethereum, is intentional. This makes far more sense than anything we've heard. It's not because Joe Lubin bribed individuals, but rather, it's government designed. Post your comments below and tell me what you think. Please subscribe and like as always. See you later, bye.